Over the winter, Sticky's been working with Tony and the volunteers, servicing and improving the Mosquito HJ711 all round. They are now working on getting it ready for taxi season. The starboard Merlin engine needs to be ready in early April, along with the port engine for testing. Sticky talked about the camshaft for a complete strip down. This is the starboard engine. Which engine's this from?
This one's from the number 2, the starboard engine. We've got basically, because the original fingers, which are these items here, they have, where the pads are, chrome plating originally, and it comes off quite often. But the problem is that when it comes off, it then starts wearing the cam lobes down, and then if we end up with a square camshaft, we then have to change it, which is a lot of money. But what we're doing now is slowly fitting tungsten pads, which are very, very hard. They've got no coating or anything, so they're a lot more resistant to no oil, if you like.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time it's where the oil should be coming up in the hole to lubricate the cam lobe, and that doesn't come out quick enough for when the engine's rotating.
Yeah.
So it takes it out on the pad, so then when you've got a chrome plated pad, it comes off very easily, whereas these ones, they won't. So
is tungsten harder than chrome?
yes, very hard, yeah. So they've all been to pieces, all the fingers, and then the pads, the old pads get cut off, and then the new pads get brazed on, and then they get crack tested, NDT'd, to ensure everything's good, and then the pad gets polished up, and that's it really. And another way is seeing whether they're actually modified or not is with a grub screw that sits in the end, and that's to help the gases get out when they're brazing and things like that as well. But as a general rule, the oil will flow up through the pedestal and then along the tubes to come out the fingers.
Yeah.
So in this case, having to change the fingers is basically a full strip down, and then once you put it back together, you have to put it, although we've got a dummy head, we can put it back on the engine.
Yeah.
We put the fingers the opposite way, and then when it's all torqued down, it should sit flat, but when it's torqued down, we then go round and measure the end floats, which is the gap in between the fingers, and they should be between a certain figure. As long as they all come in, then that's fine, and then the pad should be centralised on the cam lobe, and once that's done, then if the camshaft's been apart, the bevel gear here will have been off, and then you have to do run-out checks and backlash checks, which is basically gearing meshing and things, and also bluing the camshaft up because it's tapered seating, so you have to make sure it's at least 90% on there of the seating face. So this is all basically done now anyway. I'm just polishing the cam lobes up, put the fingers back the correct way, lace them up so they don't fall down, and then I'm able to refit it as well.
Yeah.
And then I've got another one on the shelf there, which I've got to change the cam on, so it's a bit more work to do, in addition to what I've done on this one. But as you can see, it looks pretty good when it's been stripped down and cleaned, inspected. So, but I'm going to fit them both and then do the timing on both of them together rather than just do the timing on this side, because we've got the engine inhibited, so I don't want to turn it unless I really have to do so. I shall fit both cams, and when it comes to nearer the time to engine running, we'll just do the timing of them. So just to do the valve clearances, I've got to turn it as well, you see.
Yeah.
So we'll see how time goes on. All right.
When do you get your first engine testing? Beginning of April?
It's usually around the beginning of April, yeah. I'm aiming for something like the second week of April, at the moment, because we're still doing this sort of thing, doing some other things that we want to improve before it goes out. So we're just making up the cables at the moment to try and fix that.
You've done a lot of work this year, haven't you?
Yes, a heck of a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, a heck of a lot. Got the cables in.
And when you line it up with the gears, are they marked, you know, for top dead centre, number one?
No, the gears aren't marked. The crankshaft is for doing the timing. Yeah. And basically the timing's done on an inlet valve starting to open. I mean, initially, because you're doing so much work on the camshaft and the gear and bevel gears or whatever, if you mark them, it will go back on in a different position anyway. And if you're changing camshafts, it will be a different position. So, I mean, it tells you in the book to mark it to help reassembly. If you was taking it off to say like change the block seals, put the same block back on, and then put the camshaft back on, it would actually help you. Yeah. And you know, 9 times out of 10 you would get it in the same position, so it would be timed up. You still check it on the crankshaft in the sump. Yeah. And you've got a little pointer. That's right. And then you just look for the. You have to lay on your back. Bit.
Oh well, no. You don't.
On this one, you don't. No.
Oh, they had one in the frame on the ground, and I remember Brad laid underneath with a torch.
Yeah, well, you do it on B1 because the bank you're looking at this side is the B bank. I don't know why they named it that way, but if you're sat in the cockpit, it's B and A. But if you're looking at it from the front, it's A and B. So the A bank is on the other side. So what is basically timed up, each cam is timed up on a different cylinder. So it's B1 and then A6 on the other side, which is the rear cylinder. And it's really like when the inlet valve starts to open is where you measure it from and then time it to it. Yeah. And then you turn it a little bit more and then you do the A6 on the other side, and then them two should be timed up.
Aid has now completed the rear turret on Lancaster NX611 with the 2 half-inch machine guns in place. Aid Harris has worked on the rear turret over the last 2 years, restoring it to airworthy condition.
I'm being arty-farty this week now.
It's precision painting, this one.
That really looks good.
Looks alright, doesn't it?
It looks great. And that's the throttle control.
Yeah, so where the throttles go.
The 4 throttles,
yeah. Because in the past it was silver, but it should be anodised black. You can see on the back under the primer that it is actually anodised black. So when I took it off to do the throttles this year, we decided that we'd have a go, or I decided to have a go at painting the other pieces here. It just goes on the bottom. Yeah. And that'll get the same. That'll get the infill, and then you've got the actual throttle stops. Well, the gates rather that sit on there. So that actually.
Are they new ones or?
No, they're the original ones. Just polished. So that'll look very bling bling when it goes back on. Yeah. And the pilots will be under instruction not to have jewellery on where they might to scratch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it should come out all right.
Yeah.
Right, that's that job. That's the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, great.
He does if he parts.
And you're the one making all the noise this morning, are you?
I don't do it very good lad. Others tell the truth.
Gav the jig man has started on the upgrade of the jig for the rear fuselage. He'll be installing what they call a keel, which obviously runs under the fuselage and down the centre, and a spine which will be above the fuselage and down the centre.
I can vouch for it, yes it is quicker than the wagon.
These will have arms fixed to the spine and keel and then bolted to all the formers and frames of the rear fuselage. This will make sure when removing the formers they will go back in the exact place.
Right, I've got to put a washer in between. Okay. Just take it off a sec. You see that weld up?
Yeah.
Well, just sticks out. So what I'm going to do is just...
Oh, yeah, bottom left, bottom right.
Bits on press. Now I shan't tighten mine up and then hopefully prise yours out and get a washer.
Gavin is just tack welding into place. These will be taken down and welded outside or back at the workshop.
Bring it out to here, then I'll bring it. It's just the wrong ice. If I bring it out here.
Yeah, it's probably best asking Bob. steps it off the weld.
Oh, you're going to weld it.
No, the weld just here. Well, I'll make it, the next bit's I'll put the table put next to it.
Two comments. First were from Neil Ward. Did you fit the block dry? Somebody put
No.
no. What do you do? Lubricate the boards?
The engine oil on them.
Yeah. And the other one was second from Albert Schultz. Can you still get spares for Rolls Royce Merlin engines?
Yes.
And they're easy to obtain, are they?
No.
But they
used to
are
be.
about.
Yeah, they used to be. If you bear with, I can get a... Hook yourself on, yeah. This box, for example, is full of seals that we got from Aviation Jersey quite a while ago now. So you could, until about 3 years ago, you could still get all of these. You just put an order in and they would send you them. Give you a quote, pay the invoice, and then they'd send you new old stock Merlin spares.
They are new old stock,
Yep,
are they?
with the proper part numbers on and everything. But about 3 years ago, they sold all of their stock to the States.
Oh.
So it all went overnight. You then couldn't get anything out of Jersey. Thankfully, we'd already got quite a lot. Because this is one box of about 10 or 15 of just Merlin spares that we've got in there.
Oh, that's
And
good then.
they're sort of consumables like washers, crush washers, seals. Well, there are other bits, but the answer to the question is yes, you can still get spares, but it's becoming more and more difficult, and you start to now go into making things
Yeah.
rather than just being able to order them.
It really is a metal magician, that chap.
Good, isn't it?
Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Johnny, be good. Done with it, mate. Thank you.
That's been a comedy.
Yeah. This shot shows the keel in place. If you look at the fuselage formers either side of the centre, there are jigging holes. This is where the arm from the keel will be located and bolted to. And at the top you can see the jigging holes either side of the centre. The spine not yet fitted.